to be over here in the picture. Well, good morning, everybody, and I really want to thank the community for turning out for these events, because just reminding everybody, this is about us, the landowners, the stakeholders, and so any opportunity we have to participate in is, I think, a great benefit for the community. Anyway, I'm Larry Alexander. I'm the Executive Director for Northern California Resource Center, but I'm here today representing the Upland Committee, which is a subcommittee of the Scott River Watershed, the Watershed Council. And what the committee is you know, there's been always is a lot of emphasis on agriculture appropriately, but this committee was formed and organized by the upland stakeholders, the four major timber companies, Fruit Grower Supply, TimberVest, Timber Products, Roseburg, BLM, U.S. Forest Service, and the Scott River Watershed Coalition of Fire Safe Councils, and any other stakeholder landowner who wishes to participate. But we pretty much formalized a couple of years ago and came up with a plan. But a little background in that is we started a little over 10 years ago. We all came together when the sediment thing was starting to appear, and timber management issues and forest management issues, roads, that type of thing. And so everyone was starting to embark on this road inventory sediment analysis process. And so what we realized that each one of those major stakeholders I mentioned, they all had their own unique management plans and their own unique risk assessments. And so we all informally got together and decided, well, if we're going to be doing this, let's do it collaboratively. And let's collect data that is fairly seamless, so at some point in time down the road, we can look at subshed or watershed scale issues, kind of erase the boundary lines. And so a little over 10 years ago, we got together and hammered out a road inventory sediment analysis protocol that we were all going to use pretty consistently, so the data could be compared apples to apples and that sort of thing. So that's what we did, and we tried it out, we tested it, and then we all went out and started to work and did our things. And then here a couple of years ago, we realized, wow, it's been, you know, 8 or so years since we've even gotten back together. So we got back together. We figured it was prudent to formalize ourselves a little bit. Hence came the Upland Committee. And so what we've done since then is we discovered that all of us have gathered a lot of data out there in terms of roads, crossings, fish passage, sediment issues, identified projects, projects that have been done and accomplished, upgrades of crossing, outsloping of roads, improving fish passage on crossings, sometimes replacing crossings with bridges, bringing culverts up to 100-year event size. A lot of things had been done, and there were a lot of things, of course, needed to be done. But the key thing is we realized that we had pretty much completed the almost 100% of the inventory and sediment analysis on the road systems in the upland areas on private and public lands in the Scott River watershed. And Greg Laurie of the Forest Service just informed me here a couple of weeks ago that the forest has completed 100% of the road inventories in the Scott watershed and has the data to go with it. So I think that's great. And I think a lot of that included the co-op roads too. Is that right, Greg? That's right. Yeah, okay. And one of the big points that I want to make to the board, and you've heard it before, of course, is that there has been for years a lot of stuff going on in reference to restoration, sedimentation, upland issues, ag issues, long before the TMDL process came along. They know that, but I want to just keep reminding you, keep that on the table. So anyway, a couple of years ago, the Upland Committee decided we needed a plan. So with the help of Stu Farber, who was at that time working with Timber Products, we all got together and we came up with a draft Scott River Watershed Upland Monitoring Plan, focused on upland issues. And in a nutshell, I've got some copies here for handouts. I want some for the board. We turned this into Brian here some time back, and so Brian had the initial copy of it, went through some kind of a internal review process, and part of that included data collection and a database, which we developed the database, which Brian has, and so they have that information. But anyway, there's some copies here for folks to look at. But very simply, it's a monitoring plan, and it composes 5 tasks. And task 1 is pulling together the existing upslope erosion inventories, all the data that everyone's been doing independently. Excuse me. Bringing all that data together in one place. And so that in order to do that, we had to develop a framework. How are we going to do it? And come up with a database to collect it all in a seamless manner so it can be usable. We've accomplished that task, and we have the database. It's not yet completely populated. It's probably only 5% populated, and we're only moving along as fast as we have resources, because at this point, like a lot of us in this room, it's been a total voluntary effort. We did from the board, and thank you very much, receive a couple of years ago a small grant of $4,900 to help develop the database and keep some of the infrastructure of this thing moving, and so we thank you for that. But we can only move along as fast as we have resources to do so. So that was the first task, was to bring everything together, put it into a database. This database is capable of spitting out one-to-many reports. If you want to know how many crossings of a certain size exist out there, if you want to know how many fixes have been done, how many identified projects need to be done, how many of them are fish passages, how many of them are sediment control, results of road segments. And so we designed this so it's simple to use, and we can produce reports for our own internal use, the stakeholders' internal use, or for any reporting requirements that like the federal government has, or for opportunities like this to share things, very concise, straight-ahead reports that are user-friendly. So task 2 was completed. What were the completed upslope erosion restoration projects? What's been accomplished out there? And so we haven't completed that task yet, because we still need to get all the data in because of task 1. Task 3 that we identified is what is the current ongoing projects out there? What's currently ongoing? Because there's a lot of stuff every day going on out there. So it was to identify what's currently happening. Task 4 is what needs to be done. And then comparing all that, identify any gaps. We need to go collect more data over here, or we don't have enough knowledge about a certain subshed or something like that. So identify the data gaps. And then task 5 is to begin new projects. Priority identifying, finding funding, and attached to task 5 is then monitoring, effectiveness monitoring of these projects. Are they doing any good? What's the purpose? What are the results? That type of thing. So we meet regularly, and like I said, it's a collaborative effort. It's working very well, and we're kind of unique in upland issues. In our watershed, we're kind of unique because the majority of the land base is public land management, BLM Forest Service, and or private timberlands by 4 major timber companies. So between just those individuals, it covers a good percentage of the upland areas of the watershed. And hydrologically, the health of any watershed is its headwaters. And so if the headwaters aren't in decent shape, by the time it gets down to the valley floor, it's very difficult to deal with. And it's much easier to deal with good stuff than bad stuff. So, so the main thing, that's what's going on, and that's what's the Upland Committee. And any questions, feel free to call me at any time, or the Watershed Council, and we'd be glad to provide you any information or updates or anything like that. we strongly recommend to the board. This meeting is about the potential revision of the waiver that's been talked about. Words like revision always kind of concern me, but if there's going to be a waiver process at all, then the committee strongly recommends to the board that we continue the waiver as it is in its current form, where the actions and activities stay where it should be with ourselves, the stakeholders and property owners and business owners in the watershed. Because as you all know, this isn't just an upland issue, forestry issue, or ag issue. It's a city issue. It's individual landowners, whether you own 5 acres or 500 acres. This is an issue that involves all of us, and we just think that it should stay with all of us. And I think that things that have been going on prior to TMDL time and since, all the different companies, organizations, and individual landowners have done a lot in the past, continue to do a lot, and a lot of it is voluntary, and a lot of it is money expenditure that has not been planned on, in their daily operations. So that's the main point we would like to make, is there has been a lot going on, a lot happening, and there is a lot going on in terms of trying to respond to some of these regulatory issues and practical needs that are practical within the watershed. So open up to any short questions, and I want to thank you very much. And again, I'm really encouraged and excited to see the community turn out like this. It's great.